picking up right where I left off on the last Z200 video. The main reason I'm not switching from an FX6 to a Z200 is just the sensor size. There's too much of an image quality difference to give up the FX6 and do that type of downgrade. Now, I love seeing this camera line being pushed, this type of camcorder being pushed, because as I said in the last one, these worlds are colliding, they're emerging, where we're trying to take modern tech and put them into the old stuffy boring camcorders and breathe new life into them, because I think once they do that, so many people will realize how valuable of a product this could be to their workflow. But we're not there yet. So when I was watching all of the Z200 videos come out, mainly it was Pro AV and CVP. And as I was going through, I saw my video was on there, and then I saw this other one, and it has a red line through it, which means I've seen it before. I looked at the date 5 years ago. When I click on this, it was a refresh into a video that I had seen before and is extremely intriguing because it has some features in here that have not been done since then. Mainly, it was, let me go through the things that it solves that the Z200 for some reason did not solve. Mostly the things that I'm interested in are a camera. If it has an integrated lens, I want it to be able, let me just zoom in. I want the lens to be manually operable. For the Z200, you're getting that fly-by-wire lens. For this lens that is on the exact same style camcorder from 5 years ago, they have managed to do the autofocus, manual focus, push-pull thing that is on the 28-135. Probably their most popular current ENG lens, and you have your focus markings, extremely valuable, crucial, and your zoom ring, so you can switch it to manual zoom or servo zoom. Fantastic. Again, you can do crash zooms. You cannot do that on the current 28-135. And then now that I've had the 24-70 Mark II, which has the aperture ring on it, I see it's here. It just makes me wonder, why did they have all of these great features on a camera from 5 years ago that they're not implementing on a camera today? And that's when I heard in one, I think it was CVP, they said, this Z200 is not a replacement for the Z280. And that really got me thinking, because this has a lot of the features that I would want in a modern camcorder. And if the Z200 is not replacing the Z280, and the Z280 is 5 years old, there is a chance that there will be a refresh, a Mark II or a 290, whatever you want to call it. The potential is there where they could put a slightly larger sensor into a camcorder with a manually operable lens with the modern features. Like this camera has 2 MI shoes. It's got one here and it's got one here. Very valuable if you want to put a myriad of their accessories on. So I use the Sony UWP Lav packs. That now can go from here to here because it's closer for me to operate and look at. They have some other accessories. They have a little shotgun mic. They have a light, which would make a lot of sense for people using this type of camera for ENG work. All phantom powered, all communication through that hot shoe. It's a beautiful thing. There's 4 dials right here. You can just hit every channel manually, and that's what I love to see. So the main issue when I was talking about I would like to see these features in a Z200, and I get it, I'm already complaining about something that hasn't even shipped yet. The main issue is people were saying that's going to cost a lot of money. This 5-year-old camera costs $7 grand, $1,000 more than this FX6 that I'm shooting on, and more features at a higher price makes sense to me. That's logical. I would like to see that happen. And also, $7,000 for a camera. If you've been around the video game for any portion of time, that's not the most expensive camera possible. There are so many other options where you could sink 5 times as much money into. This seems like an opportunity. Let's say they gave it a refresh. So right now it's currently selling for $7,000. Let's say they made it 8,500, 9,000 bucks. Now you're pushing it into the territory of C300s, FX9s. So it would have to really, really be close to match a multicam with those images. Of course, it will not be the same. Sensors are massively different, and there's going to be repercussions for having such a smaller sensor size. But you could get the crazy focal range for that type of system, and you could have it's kind of like the best of both worlds. The sensor's starting to get bigger, the lenses are starting to get wider and longer, and the brain, whatever you want to call it, right here, the body, is very close to mimicking like an FX6, FS5, anywhere in that range. And you could probably put this, you would have to forcefully put this in the hands of a bunch of Florida rainstorm right now. You could forcefully put it into many operators' hands because the marketability is not there. But if it was in their hands, you could, I think they would see the benefit of having a system like this. Would it take over all cameras? No, obviously not. But I think it would manage to take a large bit of interest once someone used it. It's just the problem of marketability. You're going to have to try to sell something that is not full frame, not even Super 35, and is going to be widely looked at as inferior to a group of people who are only thinking full frame means good. Unfortunately, those are the people who pay the most because it's the largest market, but there are so many applications where this could be useful. Just take anywhere that camcorders are currently in. So it could be sports, live sports, it could be multicams, studios, run and gun work. I think it would be a fantastic documentary camera. And if we could just clean up the image a little bit on these camcorders and not have the wide end of the lens have barrel distortion, and then as soon as you zoom in, you get pin cushioning, which I think is very easy to achieve with Sony's corrective software that is in this camera, that's in so many of their other cameras. They've got chromatic aberration. They can fix the chromatic aberration, the peripheral illumination, the focusing, when you zoom, I can't think about it, focus compensation, lens breathing. If that, all that modern tech, that's what I'm saying, that tech can be put into this older type of system, I think it would do very well. And then just kind of moving off topic, I got some comments on the last video that was saying, basically, you're a gearhead, you don't work, we don't see your work, and you're just buying. And I see how it looks like that from the videos because I'm just talking, ranting about gear nonstop. And there's two sides to that. The first one is I am a working DP, working videographer. All of the vlogs on this channel is behind the scenes of paid work, right? That it's proof of concept that I'm actually getting hired by agencies, clients, whatever. And I don't post any of that here because I'm handing off memory cards, I'm shipping off hard drives, I am done with my involvement at that point, which is what I prefer. I don't want to be involved in post, ever. So none of that footage gets posted here. It's a lot different than the other YouTubers who are creating content for YouTube, whereas I'm kind of scraping a little bit off of the paid work that I do, throwing it on here, or if I have these kind of gear rants, that is what is seen by the public here. And fair enough, I need to get my reel going to show all the current work that I've been doing. It's in the process. And the second part is, what was the second part? Oh, yes, second part leads into that. My brain is always racing. So when I hand off those cards, I come back home and I just start looking at my camera as a bunch of Lego pieces, and I say, what can I do right now to this gear? Is it buying something? Is it tinkering with something? Is it switching an item in and out to make my life in the field easier, to make myself more reliable in the field as a cam op or a DP, to not waste clients' time, to maximize efficiencies. So that's what I do when I get back here. And honestly, I love it. I saw this video today from Levi Allen, and he had a really interesting part in there that said his therapist or something was talking about his ADHD brain. And when she told him that you are someone that looks for stimulus, challenge, and novelty, I've never felt more targeted in my life. That is exactly what I like to do. The stimulus is, once I think of, well, I could change this bracket out, I could put this piece in there, that would give me the possibility to do this, I can change that. That stimulates my brain like nothing else. And it's not just centric to cameras. It can be a lot of different things. It could be cars, it could be whatever. And then there's the challenge part of it. I'm trying to find the solution, and I know it's there, and I love to deep dive into YouTube. I love to find who has tackled this problem before. Can I use any of their info to help me on my ancillary search? I'm hunting, I'm digging. I love that. And then the novelty is the passion part of it, the uniqueness, the ability for me to say, this is a super small problem, but I figured it out, and I bet there's someone else who wants to know how this was achieved. That's where YouTube comes in. I throw it up on YouTube and I share these rants, I share these little gear tinkering things. So that is the system that I enjoy. And honestly, I'm glad that all my free time is not taken up with running a business, client communication, editing nonstop. I have been able to condense and streamline my life and my career so that I can allow my brain to go off into different areas, and it's really, really helpful. It's a great process, and I'm very fortunate to be able to do it. But that's where my integration with YouTube, with these rants, with showing, complaining about an FX6 that has really no problems. Maybe there's not even an issue there, but I feel like nothing changes. If nothing changes, maybe some Sony person sees this video, maybe some other people find that they share the same perspective. Whatever it is, I think communication is good, and if you don't like it, there's a bunch of other videos on YouTube that you could check out. So I'm stoked for the people who found any value out of this. Like I said, it might not be for everyone, but I like this type of conversation, and I like YouTube. And until the Z280 Mark II, whatever, comes out, I'm gonna keep just sharing my thoughts. And if anybody wants to hear the perspectives from a ton of career-long cameramen, the comments in the last video are packed with them. What camera systems they actually used, which ones they wish had stayed alive before everything transitioned to other things. It's really insightful, and that's why I like having this communication.